and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
David Whiting is a well-known Melbourne solicitor and our talkback lawyer, and he's joining you to dispense some free legal advice. If you call this number, 1300 222 774. David Whiting, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia.
How's life with you in the second lockdown?
I'm being more assiduous at home than I have been previously. So, you know, the cars out the front haven't moved for several days. So, yeah, I'm finding I really want to go for 2 walks a day rather than 1. But it's working okay. We're also learning to play cards.
Oh, which game are you playing?
There are 3 of us at home. 3-handed solo is not very good. But,
oh, come on. Raise the bar a little. Try 500. That's my favourite card game.
With 3 people, the problem is if you've got, if I don't have it,
really.
then the other person, you really need 4, yes.
Yeah, you could deal a dummy hand. Look, we digress. We should be taking legal calls. Before we get to our calls, though, you've got an update on whether, is there or isn't there a police investigation into those allegations of sexual harassment made against the former High Court Judge Dyson Hayden?
The there have been the High Court conducted its own inquiry and found that there were at least 6 cases of inappropriate behaviour, and the matter was referred to the ACT police, but none of the persons who were the subject of the High Court inquiry have made a complaint to the police. So It stopped. ACT policing says that it's a victim's right to privacy, and they can report if they want to, but if they don't, then and they have not received a complaint or an allegation from any victim. So they are not planning to do anything at this point in time.
So it just comes to a halt unless someone's prepared to go to the police and actually make a formal complaint.
Yeah, there'll be no criminal charges unless somebody makes a formal complaint.
Okay, interesting. All right, let's solve some problems. 1300 222 774 is our number. I think it's Stefan from the Mornington Peninsula. Is that right, Stefan? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. It's Stefan, actually.
Stefan, thank you.
That's fine. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry, good morning. I didn't say...
Yep, we're all here. Go right ahead.
Yeah, okay. Back in 2018, I booked a cruise, 19-day cruise with a company. I'm not sure whether I can mention their name.
No, just go on.
Don't need to.
Yep. And fantastic cruise, going to Niagara Falls, flying there, 19 days, all up was $23,000. We subsequently found, after paying $7,500 in the first initial deposit, that my stepdaughter was going to have a baby, her first. So we were told, my wife said, we're not going. No. So
we're not going, we're waiting, yes?
Yes, because we were going to have the baby mid-Atlantic, apparently. Excuse me. So I contacted the company. They said, don't cancel it. What we can do is rearrange it and give you an extension and go on a similar type cruise.
Yes.
The upshot of all this was that they came back and offered us a one-night stay in New York, 7-night cruise across on the same boat, ship, sorry, for $23,000. There was no inclusions of going up to Niagara Falls, going on the Hornblower, transfer.
Stefan, your issue is that you would need to look at the deal that you struck with the tour company when you signed up. Now, there'll be a set of conditions there. It's not a COVID question, it's a change in your circumstances.
That's
that
right.
is probably not a change in circumstances that would be covered by your travel insurance.
I didn't take out travel insurance, but I was subsequently told that even if I had, there wouldn't be a claim because she was not my daughter. She's my stepdaughter.
Okay, should have got your wife to book the tickets then, Stefan.
Yeah, because I'm the lead. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, my issue is you've got a contract with a tour company to do something in particular, and you have negotiated well, not negotiated, you are unable to fulfil. There'll be a cancellation obligation and a fee you need to pay, and you've negotiated that for something else. Where's the problem?
Well, the problem is that they have not accepted any of it. They've kept my deposit. I have said, look, I understand that you may have had some cancellation fees from various operators, and I even opted
No, it's
to
not the
take-
side trip, Stefan. It's a question of what was the arrangement you had with the tour company. There will be terms and conditions that you signed in
okay.
2018.
All right.
And
The terms and
they will
conditions were
be
hang on, let's not go through.
the
Just
determinant of your entitlements,
yeah,
Stefan.
Stefan, I think you've had enough time, but thank you. Good luck. It sounds like you're being offered something, and it's up to you whether you'd like to take it, I guess, when life changes in an unexpected way. Now, Bert is in Northcote and has a question for you, David. Hi, Bert.
Hello, David. Now, at the back of my property, there used to be a little laneway. Now, all the other properties have built over that laneway with brick garages and things, but the people before me didn't. They entered the garage before the laneway. I've got a garden shed on there, and I've had it on there, and I've tended the trees on there ever since I've been here, which is over 30 years or so. I want to know.
Fenced?
Sorry?
Is
It's
it
fenced on the other side. And on the other side is like a factory sort of thing. And I want to know if I can claim...
What's between you and the laneway?
Nothing.
So your fence, you have a fence?
No, I
and
don't
then
have
there's
a
the
fence.
laneway?
No, there's no fence onto the laneway.
So have you enclosed it, have you?
The fence on the other side has enclosed it, and on both sides of my property, the other people have built brick buildings over the laneway.
So it's to all intents and purposes incorporated on your land, in your land.
Yes, and I want to know if I can call it mine.
Well, you can call it yours. That's not quite what you really want to know, though, Bert. You know?
Yes, can I build on it?
Can it be his?
Can it be yours, I suppose, is the question.
Yes.
There's a couple of answers. You be Darebin Council?
Yes.
I would think. Darebin will have what's called a register of roads. If it's on the register of roads, you can't have it by adverse possession.
All right.
But if it's been fully enclosed, you probably could buy it from council. Right?
I see.
So if it's not on the register of roads, yes, you can run an adverse possession claim because it's not owned by council. Back when those lots would have been subdivided, they created a separate title every time they transferred a new parcel. But there will probably be a title which includes your laneway, and that will be from someone who's long, well and truly dead. But if it's not on the register of roads, you can go an adverse possession claim, and you would be able to get title to the land.
Would I have to pay for it, sir?
You'd need to pay surveyors and lawyers and the land registry, but you wouldn't need to pay council, and you wouldn't need to pay market value for the land because you have enclosed it for 30 years.
Oh, good. All right, thank you so much for your help, sir.
Thank you, Bert.
Good on you,
Bye.
Bert. That's a classic adverse possession situation, isn't it, David?
Yes, because the people on both sides have enclosed theirs, which makes me think it's very unlikely to be on the register of roads at Darebin.
Excellent. Good on you. Nerida is in Toorak. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Hello. I have a question regarding construction under the permitted industries in this new stage 4 lockdown. There's a lot of information about permitted industries with restricted operations in the construction industry particularly.
And what do you want to do, Nerida?
Well, I live in a small apartment block, and neighbours, the other apartment next to me, have had permission from the committee and everything, I'm the chairperson of the committee, to go ahead with renovations of kitchen, laundry, bathrooms, etc. But they want to go ahead now in the stage 4, and we think that we're wondering if it's still allowed right now in the stage 4 restrictions, because it involves them. They're going to move out and stay in a hotel, and we're just concerned.
Yeah, you're pushing buttons there, Nerida. You're pushing buttons on the phone. Yeah.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
No worries. Okay.
Sorry, I had you on speakerphone. Is that better?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes. Yeah, better sound.
Are you familiar with the regulations covering that at the moment, David?
Well, I've got it open in front of me, and building and non-building construction is permitted, including residential. So the answer is yes, there is still the capacity to keep doing things.
Now, look, I don't mean to muddy things, David, and I think you and I discussed this on day one just before they were gazetted, and we were all confused about what was permitted. Was there not some stipulation there in relation to renovations about ones that had already commenced? Wasn't that the issue?
There is building and non-building construction, including residential, is permitted. Let me have a look at renovation.
So we're just going to take some think music here, Nerida, for a moment while David looks at that.
No, the word renovation doesn't appear.
No, well, you see, I rang DHHS last week, and I've got a very definite answer that comes under small scale, and it's really new builds, big constructions like this one going on over the road.
So you've had advice already that's not allowed, Nerida?
Pardon?
You've had advice already from DHHS?
From the DHHS, yes, but the neighbours, then the couple that are doing it, we've got no objection to them doing it at some stage, but it's just the possibility of now in this stage 4.
Okay, David?
Yep. Then there is a website for what's allowed and what isn't allowed at DHHS, and so you would need to look at that.
Yeah, they were given the exact opposite advice that I was given, and the other thing that I find very strange in this, stage 4 restrictions, that they're allowed to move out and stay in a hotel. It doesn't seem to be one of the reasons to leave home or one of the reasons to stay in a hotel.
If the house is, so your starting proposition is if the housework is allowed, then they can't live in the house, and they then have the right to go to a hotel.
It's an apartment.
Well, in the property, yes. Same argument.
Okay, so what is allowed and what isn't allowed, you look up? Is that what
you're looking up? If you go to where I would start at the Government Gazette website, which is gazette.vic.gov.au, and you would have a look at the list of regulations.
Sorry, was that governmentgazette.vic or just government?
No, gazette.vic.gov.au. And what you want is the regulations from the 8th of August, which is Gazette number 400.
Oh, okay, they
and you
came
start
in,
there.
yes.
Yeah, they've just been gazetted.
They've changed them 3 times since Thursday.
Oh gosh, have they? I'll have to print out a new lot then. Nerida, thanks so much. Good luck with that. Mary is in Doncaster. Mary, hello.
Thank you. Hello. Are you there?
Hello, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. I am ringing about my property where I live and extreme water, I call it flooding, squelching through 2/3 of the land. Mm-hmm. Some time back, the council had done some flooding probe called a Submission Assessment Technical Report, Amendment 109, to which I appealed about something. But anyway, their reply back was that they don't help with drainage through the area unless it goes through habitable floor space. I have a map from that time supplied by council concerning my property which shows that the entire creek bed goes through my property. I should say the flow of the creek in the past goes through the property, which I think is the reason why there is such squishy, extreme walking flooding in the backyard. I've asked council to be responsible for correcting my problem by supplying adequate drainage, and their claim is that since I purchased the place, but I'm the third owner, I didn't develop it. They keep looking for loopholes. The place was constructed like others, a couple of feet or 4 feet in some places below the level of the road with what looked like to be adequate drainage from the road. They've just
So where's the problem? Is it water runoff from the road or what?
Well, it's underneath, through the soil. It doesn't look like it's coming from the road, but I maintain that since I've got the map which shows that this is a part of a creek goes through the entire block and the adjacent block. The 2 adjacent blocks are built entirely on concrete from front to back because they're units. The land is totally concreted. Mine is a normal house. But when it rains and the house itself appears to have the concrete paving sinking by about 3 inches in parts around it. And I keep saying to council, help me with your resources and remove this problem because it's very deep. And one of their check people that they sent to showed that in some parts it is about 1 metre deep. The water is so soft it's squishy. It feels like a wet sponge rag in the sink when you walk on parts of the land. They just
Mary,
it's your problem.
the council doesn't guarantee the quality of the land where you build your house.
Should they have allowed a house to be built when they knew? They said they didn't know 40 years ago, which it's not right because the creek would have existed longer ago than that.
I'll take it on notice, Mary. I have a copy of what you've said, so I will give you an answer next week. All right, a better answer than I'm giving you now.
Okay, Mary, thank you. Tune in next week, and David will take that away as homework. Heather's calling in from Eltham. Good morning, Heather.
Oh, good morning, Virginia and David. I was made redundant via letter on the 30th of June, which also contained a separation certificate, but I have received not 1 cent, and I was wondering, is there a fine to the company by not paying me at all?
Yes, there is. You can take them to the Fair Work Ombudsman. They're supposed to pay you.
Yes.
There's also a possibility of prosecutions by state government.
Right.
And you can go to the Magistrates Court. They have an industrial relations jurisdiction, and you could issue a summons to be paid.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, but they said why they're not paying you?
No.
No.
Yeah. All right, then. Well,
so I would be ringing the Fair Work Ombudsman.
Is it not worthwhile first making a call, Heather, to the former business themselves and asking them? I mean, it may not be, but I'm just wondering if that's a first easier call than going to the Ombudsman and getting a faster resolution.
Yeah.
Or get someone to make the call on your behalf, Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
No? Tell me if that's...
It's just, well, things aren't very good at the moment, like the relationship, so
sure.
With me and the company. So, I think they're just really trying to hurt me financially.
Oh, I certainly hope not, but that's good advice from David. Heather, good luck with that. That sounds a terrible situation to be in. Gigi has called in from Warrandyte. Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning, Virginia. Good morning, David. Thanks for your show. You're doing a wonderful job and we love it. Look, my query is quite simple. I have life insurance, TPD, and income protection. Yeah, yes. Through I don't know if you want me to mention it, but it's through a very, very large superannuation company, and I presume a lot of them are the same. I apparently took it out in 2000, and I was shocked. I was just going through it for another reason, and I saw this pandemic clause in it that I wouldn't be covered for life insurance or anyone else. And so I rang them, and they said that, yes, that was the case, but they've removed it recently, and I would be covered. And I suppose my query is, if I did need to claim, or my family needed to claim life insurance, because when I took it out, and when everybody else all these years, it's been in that the clause has been in there till very recently.
Gigi, you need to insurance. There are two types of insurance. There's the insurances that you've got are what you would call an annual contract. There is no guarantee that the contract that the insurance company will offer you next year is the same as the one that you've got this year. Mm-hmm. And particularly where you have an insurance which is attached to a superannuation policy, because sometimes the superannuation provider goes and negotiates a policy for all of their members. So, and you'll find that sometimes they change, the conditions on the policies change year by year. So if you want to make, so what you ought to do is download the current terms and conditions of your policy
Sure.
which are unlikely to be identical to the ones you signed up for.
Yeah, and that's what they said. They've recently changed it and they've removed the pandemic clause now, and that everyone would be covered.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just wanted to check that, yes.
Yes, so see them as an annual renewed policy, and you'll understand why the conditions might change.
Yeah. Well, it's in our favour, so that's great.
Thanks, Gigi.
Thanks for that. Thanks, Virginia.
All the best.
Thanks, David. You too.
Louise has called in from Ballarat. Hi, Louise.
Hi, how you going?
Good, thanks.
Just got a query. We've got a very large tree on our immediate neighbour's fence line between our properties, and the root system is spreading into our yard and has lifted our garden shed and makes it difficult to open the door. And I just want to know where we stand. Are we able to ask them to remove and cut down the tree to stop the root system spreading further into our yard?
Your neighbours are liable for the damage caused by the tree.
Okay.
Now, you get to this terribly interesting question that if your neighbours only moved in the last 2 years, my view is they're only liable for the last 2 years' growth in the root system.
Right.
The other problem you might have is that if it's a large tree, it might be a tree that's protected under the planning scheme.
Okay.
There might be a local law which makes dealing with the tree somewhat difficult from your neighbour's point of view. But you would be entitled to come along and say, I want you to put in place a root barrier. I want you to fix the problem that's there, and I want you to put in a root barrier.
What does that involve?
Well, what you normally do is you dig a very deep trench, or a trench. You line the trench with plastic and you put dirt in again. And the roots can't get through with real difficulty, can't get through the plastic.
Okay.
That's what most root barriers look like.
The tree has been there for probably 25 years.
Yes.
It's quite a large tree.
Which is why I've got this worry about whether there's a local law that says you can't touch it.
Right, okay.
But it's still your neighbour's problem. It's a question of a discussion with the neighbour about, well, what's the workaround for this?
Okay.
Are relationships good with the neighbours?
Yes, they are.
Keep them that way.
Yes, I have this problem with your tree.
Yeah, try and keep it as friendly as you can. So important. Good to hear from you. Just quickly, finally, John in Ringwood, can we help you? John, hello. John in Ringwood.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure I was off hands-free. Yes, and good morning. The reason for the call is I'm a member of a ex-defence services organisation. Under our constitution, we were due to have our AGM during June and July, and the board has decided that they're just going to push it back for at least 6 months. And a number of our members, including myself, are very concerned that, one, we want the AGM to go ahead. We're concerned about where the organisation is currently at, particularly with their finances, and that keeping the board on is actually detrimental to the organisation without going through an AGM. What can we do?
If you look at your constitution, there will be a process for calling a general meeting.
Yes, and it says it should have been held in June, July each year.
No. There will be a set of rules that says we're supposed to hold the AGM within 4 months of the end of the financial year or something like that.
Yes.
But there will be other provisions in the Constitution that says a certain number of members have the ability to call an annual general meeting.
Yes.
So not an annual general meeting, but a special general meeting.
Yes, and they won't hold the elections because they've stated that...
No, I'm going to pull you back, John.
Oh, sorry.
They won't. What you're doing is you are urging them to give effect to the Constitution.
Yes.
There will be other provisions in the Constitution where you as a member have the right to either call upon them to hold the general meeting or you have the right to hold the general meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to look and see what they are. They'll be different for every organisation.
Yes.
But there is a provision, there will be a provision that says they're required to hold one on a petition signed by a certain number of members. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, the general proposition is that you can go and do it.
Okay.
But you don't have to do it in person. You could have this meeting, down the line and via all sorts
Yeah,
of...
have it electronically,
they've
absolutely.
They've refused to do that. They've refused to hold their meeting via
David, can they
electronic
refuse
means.
to do that, given that the electronic means exist for them to go ahead and hold their meeting?
No, but look, I'm probably getting 2 calls a week from owners' corporations where they're not holding the meetings because of the difficulty of physically holding them.
Whereas you don't have to
So,
physically hold them. You can do them down the line. So, but
Our
you can't
branches
press
held-
them on that, David?
Yes.
Oh, you can, but at the end of the day, the rules will give you the right to hold your own special general meeting.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Good on you, John. I'm glad we could help. Nice to hear from you. Good to hear from all of our callers today. David's back next week doing the same. You've got one bit of homework there, David.
Just one, which is a relief. Thank you, Virginia.
See you next week. Thanks.